And it was like split second. I said, if I've got to spend 2 weeks of feeling sick, getting used to the new medication, I'm done. That's it. I'm done. Hi, everybody. I thought I'd do just a little bit of a midweek. I want to try and do a midweek video. I want to try and do it sooner than this, actually, with a view to maybe uploading it on Wednesday night, my time. We'll see how it goes. I'm just a bit off schedule this week because I've got so many other things going on. Yeah, that's on me. I'll get to it. So look, I want to start by saying that the outpouring of support, likes, comments, subscribers, the comments are just like, oh, my goodness me. I mean, I could not hope for a better, I mean, this carnivore community, I'm sorry, and I've started saying this and I'm going to continue to say it. In terms of all the communities that you could possibly be a part of, in my opinion, of all the ones that I've been a part of, the carnivore community is the gold class of communities. I'm sorry, it just is. It's unbelievably supportive. It's quite something to be a part of. The love, support that I get from you guys is just very, very precious to me. And I see every single comment. If I've reacted to it with a heart, I've seen it and I've read it. Every single one of those comments means the world to me, and I needed you guys to know that. Now, in terms of this video, you may have guessed by the title, I want to talk about the meds that I was on for depression, anxiety. And it was prompted by a lovely lady whose name is, I'll put the comment here for you to look at. Nola saved my soul. And she said, what made you stop your antidepressants? Just curious if you feel open to answering, which of course I do. Not a problem there. I have been on Lexapro for 6 years now, and I'm scared to go off. I've slowly tapered from 10 milligrams to 5 milligrams twice, and each time I ended up severely depressed. But they give me severe restless legs, and it drives me crazy. But they're the only antidepressants that ever worked for me. Hoping carnivore will help me as I'm already off my anxiety medication. Hoping carnivore will help me as I'm already off my anxiety medication in just a few weeks or a couple of weeks. So I will start by saying, full disclosure, not a doctor. Never will be a doctor. I think I mentioned in another video, the closest you're going to get to a doctor where I'm concerned is that I've watched House a few times over. That's it. I can only go by what I've experienced. I would always say, never take what I say as gospel. Talk to your doctor if you're unsure. The only thing I will say about the restless legs, I don't know whether you're taking a magnesium supplement for that. I do, and I'm going to do another video next week about all the other medications that I am on, which I plan on getting off. I've already gotten rid of one down, 50 million to go. They're just Band-Aids. But anyway, I digress. If you get that restless leg thing, I'd be looking into some magnesium before you go to bed. I have the same thing. But I had the restless leg even when I was on the Lexapro, or as they call it here, escitalopram. I think that's how you pronounce it. So I would look into that, magnesium for the restless legs. It helped me. It could help you. In terms of magnesium in the future, I'm probably going to be looking at the products from the Keto Chow website. just need to sort of tie up a few informational loose ends. But I'm planning on getting off everything else that I'm taking right now and sort of migrating over to them. So look into that. I would never say go cold turkey with medication like Lexapro or escitalopram, because the side effects are real. Having said that, I did. Okay, so I came off the Lexapro in February 2022. But the thought for getting off them, or at least changing them, happened about a year before. We were still in Sydney at the time. And just to give you some background on what life was like for me there, we were living in a 2-story house. And up to a certain point, getting up the stairs, although difficult, it was doable. Awkward, but doable. It was coming back down the stairs that eventually started to frighten the living daylights out of me. I could see me put a foot wrong, and that's me falling heavy down the stairs, breaking my neck, game over. So I eventually stopped going up the stairs. I basically lived in the garage, sitting on a couch, and I slept in there by putting my legs up on another chair. And that was the norm for quite some time. It was an unhappy life for me and for my family to see me go through that, obviously. So the meds that I was taking, I did take a screen cap of, because fortunately, for whatever reason, I did actually take a screen cap, because I actually documented when I started taking the Lexapro and escitalopram. So I'll put the image in here. So something like the 6th of April, a long time ago, you'll see when. So I've been on them for quite some time. And now, a little bit further back, give you some context. The relationship I had with my father was, it was okay. It was okay, but there were times where it was just woeful. I won't go into that right now. That's a whole different barrel of monkeys right there. But there was something that happened about a year before we came up here to Brisbane. And for a split second, because I've always gotten on really well with my oldest son, who is now going to be 21 in June, but it was my youngest son, Joshua. There was something that we had an argument about something. Can't remember what it was now, but I remember reflecting on that and remembering, my God, it's like arguing with my father, but only it's me as the parent this time and him as the child. And it was like a repetition of that tension, that frustration that I used to, as a child, my father used to, on occasion, used to drive me mental. And it sort of made me self-reflect. I'm like, why is that happening when I'm on Lexapro? What's going on here? And it sort of made me realize that, because at this point we knew we were moving to Brisbane, and I discussed it with my husband at the time, and he said, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe you need to increase the dose or maybe change the medication. And I said, I don't know. I said, but something's telling me I've reached the ceiling with Lexapro. I've reached the ceiling. I think when we get to Brisbane, I'm going to have to look into changing the medications. So that's where I was with that. So cut to January 2022, I ran out. But I knew that I had a grace period of maybe about 4 or 5 days before I'd start climbing the walls, if you like. But I had made an appointment to see the doctor. And I discussed with him about changing the medication, right? And he said, so when is your last Lexapro escitalopram dose? And I said, well, that was 4 days ago. He went, oh, okay. He said, have you, and he went through a great long list of the possible side effects of withdrawal. And I was one of those freaks, if you like. I said, nope, none of that. Nope, don't get it. Nope, haven't had that. Nope, none of that. He went, okay. He said, all right, let's try. I can't even remember what it was called now, but he gave me a script for another one. He said, the moment you start, he said, and he printed out the list of possible things that could go pear-shaped. He said, if you start feeling any of these things, he said, I want you to start taking these. I said, yep, all right, no problems. So it took about 10 days after that doctor's visit. And I was starting to get panicky. You know, that anxiety that you get, that sort of, right? And so I took one of the new ones. And I felt nauseous for the rest of the day. And I'm like, really? My husband knew why. I knew why. And I thought, okay, I'll take it one more day. So I took another one the next day. Same thing. Felt nauseous. It was like having morning sickness all over again. It was vile. And he said, what are you going to do? And I said, and it was like split second. I said, if I've got to spend 2 weeks of feeling sick, getting used to the new medication, I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I'm not going through that again, because I didn't have that nauseous feeling when I started taking the Lexapro, escitalopram. I'm like, if this is what I've got to go through to get used to a different medication, that's it. That's it. Game over. I'm done with the anxiety and depression meds. I'm done. He went, oh, I said, I've already been off them for like nearly 2 weeks. And it was like something in my brain. And now, I mean, he's looked up ways to, because I do still get panic attacks, obviously. They're rare, but my husband has, and he's told the children, if you ever see your mother just suddenly, and I just suddenly slump, I go, oh. So they know that whenever I do that, they put into action the information that he's looked up on how to distract from the panic attack. And so, and it works. It just works. So that was why I got off the Lexapro. Not the ideal way to get off them. And it's not a way that any doctor would say, oh, no, you go off them slowly, thanks. You take it, because, yeah, for some people with the withdrawal is quite a serious thing. But, you know, I don't know what to say about what I went through. Apart from maybe just feeling a little bit, you know, after about 10 days or so, that was all I got. So, like I've said, I'm just so glad I got off them, honestly. It's not to say it's been easy, because it hasn't been easy. It means that, I mean, because those medications do come with their own sort of fogging abilities. You've got the fog of your mental health, and then you've got the fog that some of these medications can actually create. So you've got compounded fog upon fog upon fog. So the first year of being off them, yeah, not easy. But I was starting to remember things. I'm like, oh, was that when blah, 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 blah happened? And my husband's going, yeah. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. That's because everything was just veiled in a fog. It also meant that dealing with emotions, dealing with painful things, for example, again, this is probably going to end up having to be another video. I don't know. My mother, who was an opera singer, had towards the end of her life, it wasn't exactly medically great. But she died at home in her own bed, but unfortunately it was me that found her. So there was a very distinct part of my life that I shut down for a good 20 years, like opera, classical music, opera singing, all the things, or everything to do with that particular part of my life. I just shut it down. And so when that world reopened for me, thanks to my darling Adrian, it meant now that I had to emotionally face all those roadblocks of emotions that I had basically just gone, nope. It meant pushing through them without the medication. Now, that was hard. And, I'm sure that Adrian could probably tell you some tales and put it much more articulately than I ever could in a comment. I hope he does. That journey of pushing through all of that, because there was a point where early on after she died, I couldn't even listen to my own mother singing the roles that I'd grown up listening to her sing. Just couldn't do it. It was too painful. And then watching her sing, seeing videos of her singing, oh boy, that was a mountain and a half to climb. But I made it. I did it. I pushed through it all with his help and my family's help. It was flipping hard. But now it means that I know now that everything, I've always said everything happens for a reason. I know that I needed to go through all of that and push through that with my mother, her singing, and all of that. I know that I needed that year to push through that in order to get to where I am now. Because if I hadn't, I probably wouldn't have even had a mind open enough to even find carnivore. And I would have sauntered along, maybe doing Atkins shakes and bars, putting nothing but inflammation into my body, and maybe just doing keto and struggling with that because of the overcomplicated nature of it. I mean, some can handle it. I just can't. I'm like, no, I just want simple. So everything happens for a reason, and everything leads you to where you are now. And that's what my journey has been. So that is the story of the medications. But I will say once more, please, please, please do not go off anxiety or depression medications off cold turkey. Please don't. Please, please, please discuss it with your GP, and he will set out a plan for you to come off them slowly, because some people do get some shocking side effects when they are withdrawal, really bad. So just dangerously assume that you are going to be one of those people that will have bad withdrawals, and just do it right by you. Go to your doctor. In terms of restless leg, talk to your doctor about magnesium. Don't talk to your chemist, talk to your doctor. Restless leg, magnesium. Some would even say a little bit of potassium as well. I will do a video on all the other paraphernalia that I'm taking that are just nothing but Band-Aids. But hey, we've got rid of the Celebrex. One down, 5-ish to go. So yes, we're getting there. So now I'm going to go, because I've taken up way more time, your precious time, than I really need to do. But I hope that you enjoyed this little campfire sort of storytelling time. And I will end by saying, please be kind to those around you. But please, please, please remember, be kind to yourself.